Hello, everyone. Welcome to iConversations. We're glad that you're joining us. Those of you that are joining live and that are watching the replay, welcome. Today, our special guest is Peter Forbes from Dalby, Queensland. Today, I'm going to be asking Pete just to share a little bit about his story. He's been an icon agent almost every year. I think every year he's been with EXP since joining. And we want to try and just peel it back a little bit and learn more about him, his approach to business, and some of the systems that he uses to keep the ball going. So, Peter Forbes, welcome to iConversations.
Thanks, Rob.
Give us a little bit of a backstory. We've got new people all the time. I know you've shared your story on a couple of occasions, but I just want to get people up to speed. Where's Dalby? Where are you in the world? And then I'm going to ask you about your real estate career.
Okay, so Dalby is 250 k's west of Brisbane. We are further west than Toowoomba, which is probably the big major centre west of Brisbane. So we're about 90 k's further west of Toowoomba. Yeah, Dalby's turning into a bigger place. We've got a Bunnings now.
Look out.
We've got all the brands, KFC, McDonald's,
Yeah.
Aldi. We even got Aldi now.
Right. You're on the map if you got Aldi.
Yeah, we've really come ahead. So I grew up in Dalby. I was born at the hospital in 1979. So yeah, I've been around a while here. But Dalby was always about 10,000 people when I was growing up. It's sitting on about 12,000 at the last census. It's changed a lot in the last 20 years. Probably in my adult life is probably where we've seen the most change as far as energy. So yeah, our area is, there's a lot of gas and a lot of solar stuff has happened probably in the last 10 years. And now we've got sort of wind farms in the area. So that's been a driving force for our economy and our and our real estate. I guess outside of that, Dalby it's a farming community, so that's the basis of what we are is agriculture. But we've always had an industrial background as well. We've got big metalworking places, and a couple of big name items are actually from our area, like Dingo Australia is a brand. Bushman Tanks is another probably well-known brand. Yeah, so it's always been a sort of, I guess, a manufacturing place as well. Yeah. So that's Dalby. Yep.
And tell us just a little bit about how many houses there are in Dalby. Are they all old, or are there some mix of new and old? And tell us a little bit about that type of product that you're selling.
Yeah, so Dalby itself has about 4,000 houses and growing. We've had, the last 15 years, we've seen probably 15, well, probably closer to 20. We've seen that, I guess, project style home come into our market, which we've never had before. Our soil is very volatile, so it moves around a lot. Most of our traditional homes are on stumps. Instead of coming to Dalby for a look at that, and I'll take them in the first house, and they go, "Oh, it's moving, it's this and that and the other," and I have to explain to them that this is pretty good, and if you want to see movement, I'll show you some really good things. Yeah, but
this is normal, is what you have to tell the people.
So there's a mix of houses in Dalby from your shitbox, which I'm very, very adept at selling and living in, and all the rest of it. And then we've got our what I consider our mansion phase is probably happened in the last 15 years, where people are building bigger, flashier homes. And my wife and I actually moved into one, and it's just the most magnificent place I've ever seen. I think it's the best house in Dalby. But so there's a real mix of houses in Dalby. From my real estate career, I do love and enjoy the rough stuff. I think it's fun. And they're things that just keep turning over. They're good rental properties for people. And yeah, they just don't sort of let you down. So that's probably been the bread and butter of my business.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about what type of volume are you doing on a yearly basis. I know you don't track all these things 100%, but roughly how many properties are you selling a year?
I am really lazy on the numbers, but I sell between 40 and 60 houses a year.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
I do. But I'm really lazy, and I'm lazy in a lot of respects, but I don't even look at the numbers. I actually know I sold 51 houses or properties last year. The only reason I know that is I did my tax, and I had just recently, and I had to go through the numbers and have a look. And you know what? My business partner, Patrick, who does rentals, he came over to my house and he's having a meeting because he's devastated. He thinks we're not, doing the numbers in sales. And I'm just like, I don't care. I just do whatever's in front of me, which is very frustrating for him. He's like, you could sell 200 houses if you wanted to. And I'm like, oh, I don't think I could, but I don't know if I even want to.
Yeah. Why would I want to do that?
Yeah, so, um, yeah, I think I'm probably a bit on the lazy side in a lot of respects, but
I,
yeah.
I think you're probably measured. You know what you want out of life, and you're going at it, and you're enjoying it, and you're doing a great job. Take us back to you're a second generation real estate agent, meaning that your dad was involved in real estate, but take us back to your entry into real estate as a profession.
Yeah, so I grew up around it, but it wasn't until later on. I had a number of sort of jobs over the years, different sort of things, but it wasn't till 2008. I said to my, well, I didn't know what to do with myself. Basically, never had a proper job, really. No, that's a lie. I did work in a toy shop once. Um, 2008, I didn't know what to do with myself. So, and then, yeah, I was just talking with my wife one morning. I said, I like real estate. Maybe I should get into that. I sort of avoided it because, yeah, I sort of grew up around it. Dad was doing it. Dad was quite a guru in Dalby, really. People still talk about him. So, but it had been sort of 10 years since he'd finished up. So I thought, well, I'll get into that. Anyway, I rang a guy I knew that he'd sold a house for me before, and I'd bought a house off him, and yeah, I rang him, and of course he was like, "Oh, this is great. You can come and work for us, and it'll be awesome." He knew my father, so yeah, it was all, and it was back at Ray White where my father ended his career with Ray White. He was a franchisee, but that yeah, we went along fine for about a week, I reckon. And I really, I really wanted.
Just the 5 days, or was it the whole seven?
I really wanted to sell houses. I wasn't interested in anything else. I just wanted to talk to people, list houses, and sell them. I had some really strong ideas early on around how they should be marketed for sale and how you should have a system for each property, and you should stick to that. But yeah, my boss at the time, he really struggled with me because I basically wasn't doing what I was told, I guess. I didn't actually see the sacking coming, but yeah, he called me in one day and he wasn't happy with my approach to advertising. Was very different to his, and he yeah, got rid of me. So I was quite devastated because yeah, I didn't really see that coming. I thought I was awesome, and yeah, so he said, you can't do that here. So what are we going to do with you? And I said, well, I'm not sure. I don't really want to do that. And he said, well, that's it. Shook my hand and see you later. So yeah, then I spent the next couple of months completing my full license. I was pretty well 3/4 of the way through it. Not really sure. I just thought maybe I should look at a job with another office, but I looked at the other offices in Dalby and I thought it's going to be the same thing. I'm not really changing anything. And I met Glenn Twiddle, and he was someone I knew in real estate. I'd met him through my REIQ course. I called him, and he said, "Oh, I'm in Toowoomba next week. You should come and have a talk to me about what you're doing." And he was someone who was just like, "You can do this, Pete. You can just start your own thing out of the boot of your car. You don't need to work for someone." Just so yeah, from there, my wife and Glenn had encouraged me, and it sort of went from there. So I'd had probably 3 months at Ray White. Then I had a 3-month window where I was unemployed, and I was straight into my own business from there. And it was really, really hard. There was no EXP to assist you. And I was literally wandering the streets of Dalby looking, begging for someone to give me a crack. And people did. People gave me a go. I just took whatever I could get, open listed, whatever. I was angering people, particularly my old boss. And he was so good for my business because he was bagging me. He was saying I didn't have the experience, I didn't have the exposure, I didn't have an office. All the things that he was telling them. It made them so intrigued that they wanted to talk to me. He was really great, and later on we became mates again, me and Richard. And I actually sold his house about 2 months ago. So we had a rough patch there, but we ended up mates in the end, and I feel he helped me along the way. So
Yeah. Well,
um,
you definitely wouldn't be where you are with your whole setup the way you've got it now if that hadn't happened, probably.
yeah. So from there, I sort of people were hassling me to do rentals, and then I thought I didn't really want to do that, but I thought I should do it, and um, I end up with a small office that we end up purchasing the office, and it sort of just went from there. And yeah, we picked up some rental properties, and then I got some staff, and yeah, it turned into a traditional office, which is not really what I wanted to do. But it sort of went from there. I got confused a few times. I sold my rent roll, and then I later on bought it back, which is weird. But anyway, that's what happened. I've now got a business partner, Patrick, that is really just my investment angel. He does all that rental stuff, so I just ignore that. He does all that stuff, and he comes up with wild ideas. So do I sometimes, and we just feed off each other. But yeah, he runs the rental business. I do my sales. Him and his wife do a few sales within that business as well. But yeah, it's a great sort of thing we've got going on. I very rarely go into the office. Yeah, I joined EXP because I was sick of trying to employ sales staff, and it really didn't work. And that's probably more me than anything else. And I saw this EXP, and I thought that's what I want to do. Since then, things have changed within my business, and we've expanded. We've got Toowoomba and Blackbutt offices that we run. So things have really changed there, but I'm still with EXP, and I think it's a great thing for me personally. And yeah,
Well,
I've rambled on enough, I think, Rob.
no, that's great. And why I think it's important is because it shows a journey, it shows a progression. And sometimes we as agents, we might be in an isolated community, we might be a little bit distant from other agents, particularly if we're with EXP. And we can kind of think sometimes we're a little bit lost or that our story is different to somebody else's story. But what you're demonstrating is that if you have enough gumption and enough willpower and you're not afraid to hear no, you can do things in this industry. You don't have to be the sharpest tool in the shed if you're prepared to work. You know, you can just get on with it. But I want to now transition because I wanted to get a little bit more into the systems that you're using now to work your business. So maybe if we can talk a little bit through your your systems you use in addition to what EXP supplies. So I know you use Rita. Are you still using Rita?
Yeah, I do use Reader. I think it's a valuable tool. And probably I've gone through patches where I've probably used it better than others.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually had assistants at times helping me, and yeah, when that happens, I'm sure things get done better.
Better, yeah.
At the moment, I'm using Reader, and I'm probably using half of what it's capable of, but
Mhm.
I still religiously check it each day. So basically, it sends me a list going through my database, and it's an old database now. Everyone in my office look at it, and at times try to get someone's number or whatever. And half the time, I can't remember dealing with someone, but they've obviously looked at a house or something over the years, and they're on it.
If we could
Um,
just put a parenthesis there, who goes into your database? Everyone that you meet, everyone that inquires?
That's one thing I've just been so anal about is any inquiry at all goes in there. So any email inquiry, the hardest bit for me is phone inquiries. I actually don't like phone inquiries. I'd
Yeah,
rather someone email me and give me all their details and then I can ring them.
yeah.
But yeah, the phone inquiries, they're difficult. I'd say I probably get half of those, just depending on what I'm doing at the time, or because I want to get their email and all those things. But yeah, I'm quite religiously putting information in, and then from there, reader grabs it and goes through it on a daily basis. And I'm pretty good with it, entering data, working out who owns what, putting it into my system, and they get a regular text message. So yeah, reader is a big tool that I use. Yeah.
And you have been using Active Pipe as well.
Yes.
Tell
Yeah.
me about that. How do you use that? What does that look like in your business?
Yeah, it's been set up,
Yeah,
and that is it.
yeah.
I do not do a single thing. In fact, I went on there recently and I tried to actually use it, and I'm too dumb. I just can't figure it out. But the Active Pipe people have set up my system, and it just goes out each week on the daily. I'm not sure how it works, but people are getting emails when the new properties come on. They get each. It's a weekly thing that goes out, and I don't touch it. I don't look at it. I have tried. I don't think I'm smart enough to sit there and look at it properly. And I think I'm probably using 25% of its capability.
And
Yeah.
yet, and yet, it's still working.
Yeah, because people ring me or they send an email and go, I saw this property you've just put on, or this one's come back on the market or something. What's going on there? So I know that it's working.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm probably the laziest man on earth. Lee Martinuzzi was talking about it one day in one of the sessions, and I thought, oh, I wish I could be like Lee. Like he's actually looking at it properly and setting it up properly and sending it out and using it. I'm not.
Well,
Yeah,
the wonderful thing and a compliment to you is the fact that you may not understand it, you don't know all the bells and whistles, uh, but you've set it up, you've taken that step, and I think from all the time getting to know you over the last 4 years, 5 years, whatever it's been, you you have been so smart in being anal about getting your database, getting the data into the database, and then letting those systems do the work for you.
yeah.
Um,
You
and
got
I,
to pay. You got to. Sorry, Rob, but you got to pay for them. Like
yeah,
I think a lot of people shy away, and I've seen it over the years. Different salespeople have come and gone, and they just don't want to pay for these things, and like they're cheap. Like when you really think about it, like they're forcing me to be lazy, isn't it?
yeah,
So I think Active Pipe's $150 a
yeah.
month.
So let's say all these systems that you're using are maybe 3 or 4 or 5 grand a year, right? And you're selling 60 houses a year.
And
It's it's like saying, "Hey, I want a Ferrari." No, I don't want to pay for tires.
mm,
I don't want tires on that. No. So
yeah,
yeah.
but yeah, I've seen a lot of salespeople over the years. They don't want to pay $25 for this or $100 for that, and I'm just like, what? What the hell do you expect? I like, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Pete, in the time that we have left, I want to just talk to you about a little bit about some of the other things that you're doing in your business. You do run some social media stuff, um, and meaning that you have a Facebook page. You go live on your Facebook page. Um, I'm not asking you to tell us how the mechanics of all that work, but how do you see social media as being a part of your business structure?
Well, it's a small part now. Yeah, I'm not doing the quantity that I used to do with it.
Mhm.
I've a couple of years ago, someone hacked in and called me
Yes.
Elizabeth Jones or something, and I actually got banned from Facebook over it, and I couldn't get my profile back,
Yes.
which was devastating. Yeah, because I had all those friends and things going on, and yeah, so since then I've probably been a bit ho hum about it because I had to start a new profile and all sorts of stuff went on. But I just think for me in my small town, I've just got to do something on there. I was doing open houses religiously, and always started my Saturday with a live feed at the first open house, talking about what I'm doing for the day. And all it was for me in my town was, I'm Peter Forbes and I'm here. I sell real estate. I'm not going anywhere. That's all it was for me. And I would continue to do it. In saying that, I haven't had too many open houses for a long time. I've actually got 3 this Saturday, which is amazing. It's just we've been selling them so quickly. They haven't been getting to the open house, or they've been rented properties, so I haven't been able to. Yeah, so that's an unusual part of our market. So I haven't been doing as much on it as I used to do it. But for me, that's all it's really been. At times, I've spent money on Facebook ads and all those things, looking for listings. I've never been that successful with it, to be honest. And I've probably poured the most money into that sort of stuff over the years, and it hasn't been that effective for me. But for me, I think it's just about putting stuff on there, people seeing your face. Videos are really easy to do, and even I can stand in front of it and have a bit of a chat about something or other.
Yeah, you've had some great videos with the wide brim hat standing out in front of the in front of the properties.
Yeah, I don't wear the hat because I want to. I've got what you would consider shit skin.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have to cover up even under a fluoro light these days.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wow. Yeah. And well, I want to just talk a little bit, one last component. Part of your, I suppose, brand awareness in your community is, I don't know if you're still doing this, but you have been doing a branded vehicle. Talk to us about that. How did you come up with that? How did you choose it? And how do you feel that it impacts your business?
Yeah, well, initially when I first started, I had a little Lancer that I bought specifically because, well, I didn't have an office, so I thought, well, I've got to get some sort of brand out there. And I used my name because people knew my father, so that was what worked a treat for a long time. Forbes Realty, the business used to be. Um, so yeah, that was basically my office was my car. So I branded that up, and people used to see me getting around and the comments. And I used to have big flags and things. The other agents weren't doing open houses, so I started doing them again. And yeah, people would say, "Oh, look, he's everywhere, that guy." And when I put a sign on a house, I wouldn't just put the sign up. I'd put flags all along it, and it looked like. The truth of the matter was, I only had 2 houses to sell, so I had more time on my hands, didn't I? So, but people were saying, this guy's everywhere. He's all over the place. And I guess I was walking around town too. So people just kept seeing me. Yeah. So the branding of the car was a massive thing at that stage. As life's gone on, the car was stolen and it was wrapped around a tree somewhere.
Yeah.
Anyway, eventually, so anyway, I'd always wanted a van. Because I always look at vans and you think that's a big space to sign up your vehicle, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
I eventually, after some time, I got the van, and I did the same thing with it. I've just branded it up with the One Property Centre colours and whatnot. Just before EXP actually. Um, so yeah, the branding of the car. I mean, the bigger the better. In a small town, people see you all over the place, and they just literally think that you're everywhere looking at houses. I very rarely am out looking at houses. It's usually driving my kids around to different things after school and that. But people are seeing it everywhere. So like I think it works a treat. Once again, you got to pay for it, but that's pretty cheap advertising when you look at billboards and that around the place.
Yeah, you've got the mobile billboard going on there. Do you do any form of print and or other types of branding in your area? DL
No,
cards, do you do any of that anymore or?
no, and I don't have business cards anymore.
Yeah.
I just don't think. I just think it's a waste of time. Anyone who says to me, "Can I have your business card?" I go, "Oh, look, I don't do business cards. You'll get a text after this with my details." And I just say to them, "Oh, because I don't give out the card, sir, because you'll take it home and you'll throw it in the bin, and I don't want anyone throwing me in the bin." I'll say, and then they'll start laughing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Yeah, so I haven't done business cards for a long time. I don't do DLs. When I first started, I did. I literally walked around with a flyer, and the flyer was just a piece of paper. It was nothing. It was just something to leave behind if they weren't home. So I would, yeah, letterbox drop myself with a flyer. That's really the print marketing. But yeah, I haven't done anything. I have tried letterbox drops, proper professional ones years ago, but I haven't done anything for a long time. I just think it's a waste of paper.
Yep. And so and that's why I love having these sessions, because we get to find out what people are actually doing in their community. So Peter Forbes, for you, if we could boil down what you've done, is you've created a database. You're
Yep.
continually growing that database. You're using AI to mine the database. You're communicating with that database on a weekly basis. And so people, you may not be thinking you're doing much, but the systems that you've put in place are really driving that business to get you a sale a week, basically.
Yep.
Some years a little less, some years a little bit more. And for that, that's amazing. That's really a wonderful story to share. Um, Anything else that you want to, any little tidbits or secrets you want to share that have
Oh,
helped you in the last couple of years?
yeah. Oh, look, I actually don't think I'm very organised, but yeah, the EXP ladies recently were telling me, oh, you've always got everything in line, everything's in order, and I've said to them, oh, gee, that's pretty slap happy. And one of them was just like, you are just super organised
Yeah.
compared to other people we deal with. So I think I think you've got to have little systems that you use, and you should look at the systems in your business as if you weren't there.
Yes.
Could someone follow what you're doing? I have a checklist system I use. It's called Trello. A lot of people use it.
Mhm.
And look, I don't actually need it, but I keep using it because I do want people to help me at times. And if I've got the systems there, it's just a matter. So when I say I don't need it, I'll list the property, do everything that's needed, and then I'll go back through my checklist and tick off each task to make sure that I've done it.
Do you have the checklist on your Trello boards? Do you use the checklist feature on the Trello board?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
And
swear by that. And
and you
I
just copy and paste that to a new board each new listing, is that right?
well, mine's sort of semi-automated, Rob. So
Yeah.
it's sort of, if you put I'd have to show you, but you put the tab under the column for under contract, and then there's a list of jobs that happen.
Yep.
Now, once you've completed those, it moves into the next column, which should be, um, you know, unconditional, and then so on. And there's a list of jobs with each task. And I think it's important to have those there. In the next month, I will be trying again with a virtual assistant because I'm super lazy and I just want someone else to do the stuff that I don't want to do. So I've got those lists there in place, and someone hopefully can just move in and start helping me with those items.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I I
Trello
I,
is a really
I,
good tool.
I once heard a pretty high profile CEO of a company say, if you want to streamline your business, engage what others perceive as lazy people, and they will find the fastest way to get something done.
Yeah,
Because they knock out all the other stuff where people are trying to invent steps to have a job. they will just, I always just say we're like water. We just find the straight route down. Like
yeah,
we're not trying to go here, there, and everywhere. We list the property, we sell the property. That's it. Let's not overcomplicate it.
yeah.
No,
I agree.
that's fantastic, Peter Forbes. Thanks for taking time out of your schedule to share with us. It makes people believe that wherever they are in the business, they can make some tweaks and changes and implement some of the things that you are to build up to get the results that you're getting. So thank you very much.
No
What's
worries. Thank
what's
you.
the forecast for Dalby Real Estate for the next 12 months?
Well, at the moment, we're a real hot spot. There's investors coming from every angle looking at Dolby because the returns are just amazing,
Yeah.
absolutely amazing. Look, they've always been amazing, but for some reason, the last 6 months, people outside of our area and even outside of the state have noticed Dalby as this investment place. So it's yeah, I don't see any change in the horizon for Dalby because I think our houses were just ludicrously cheap. And now they're probably not ludicrously cheap, but they still are affordable.
Yeah.
You know, to give you an example, a house that would sell for $350 rents for about $480, $500 a week, which, you know, on paper looks pretty good to the investment buyer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Peter Forbes, thank you for joining us on iConversations. And for all of those that were here live, thank you for taking time out of your schedule. And those watching the replay, have a fantastic week.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Scott.
Peter. Thank you.